Hello folks, welcome to my brief tutorial / tips video on Lightroom and reality capture workflow. I have been doing photogrammetry for more than 2 years now, and I would like to share some of the stuff I have learned along the way. First things first, I'm using a Sony a7R5. It's a 71 megapixel mirrorless camera, but generally speaking, a very good lens over an expensive body will always be priority. So you don't need to buy the latest and greatest if you'd like to start doing your own photogrammetry project. This scan that I'm going to show you will be available on FAB Marketplace in the near future, along with a new environment package that we have been working on. It's very exciting stuff. So as you can see, I have 180 pictures here taken of this granite wall with a corner detail on the side. Very first thing that we're going to do is to open the first picture and head straight to develop, and I'll show you my way of adjusting the pictures. In order to eliminate most of the shadows, we lift the black and the shadow all the way to the right and reduce the white and the highlights all the way to the left. Changing the white balance, if you think it's incorrect, in this particular setting I had an overcast day throughout, so applying these adjustments on all of the pictures will not result in any major color or exposure imbalance. Another important thing is using a color checker. I have presets saved from previous scans that I use for color accuracy. I highly recommend getting one. Next thing is clarity and dehaze. I usually play with them to see if I even want to apply any. I heard from other people using 100+ clarity on their scans. I have never been in a situation where I would need that. If we go down, there's an option to apply sharpening to our photo. The amount I use depends on the environment that I shoot in. If I have to use high ISO, I apply more sharpening compared to something like a void photogrammetry, where in this optimal setting, I would just set the camera to aperture priority and the ISO between like 100 and 200, and also shooting from a tripod. I always use lens correction, even though reality capture has its own way of dealing with that. From here we select all the pictures and synchronize the settings to apply all the adjustments we just made. What I do now is that I go over every single picture and tweak the exposure and also delete any pictures that came out blurry. You definitely do not want those in your scan. Technically, if the picture is really blurry, reality capture will exclude that from the alignment process, but I just like to be 100% sure that my pictures are near perfect. When you export for reality capture, it is recommended to do 2 separate folders, one for geometry and another one for texturing. This scan will be a static mesh, and I am aiming for a high texture quality on a single 4K albedo map. And in order to achieve that, I reduce the resolution of my 61 megapixel image to 9 megapixel or even below that. This way we sacrifice details in the model for a higher texture quality basically, but the detail loss is insignificant compared to the sharper texture quality that we can get out of. I keep everything in JPEG and hit export. Do it again. This time I untick the resize box and export the full 61 megapixel image to my texturing folder. Now we are in reality capture. I imported both folders and checked the inputs. They were all shot on a 24mm focal length lens. All you need to do before hit the alignment is to group them. In my case, since all of these pictures were shot on the same lens, Reality Capture created just one calibration group. But on a variable zoom lens, if you change focal length, you will end up with multiple of these groups, so don't worry. If you have alignment issues on your model, check that you have grouped your images first before you add any control points. These are my alignment settings. I only change the image overlap and the detector sensitivity depending on the environment I shoot in. In void photogrammetry, I set the detector sensitivity to the lowest, but in this case, I have it on highest settings due to the higher noise in the inputs. Once we hit align, we pray for a successful aligned 3D model. And here we are, our beautiful point cloud, fully aligned, ready to be constructed in high detail. Normal detail is absolutely fine too for most scenarios. Once we have our model, we can simplify it to the desired polygon count and texture it. I went with 75,000 triangles and created 3 versions of this model: a 4K, an 8K and a 16K textured version. When you unwrap your models, make sure to select the texturing layer as the desired inputs to texture your 3D model. This option will only be available if you have a texture folder imported into Reality Capture. Otherwise, Reality Capture will create a texture from the geometry inputs. Now, our last step is to export our mesh in the desired file format, and that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to see more and to hit the like button. We are constantly uploading on YouTube and would love to hear your feedback. You can find our projects on FAB Marketplace and on our website. We now have an official Discord channel as well that you can join. You will find all the important details below in the description. Thank you for watching, stay safe.